Welcome to QRCodeTracking.com. Please sign in using your username and password that you've gone ahead and created. Once signed in, you will be redirected to our home page, which is where you will begin to have access to the dashboard. Included in the dashboard is groups, campaigns, codes, mass export, and statistics. Let's first go ahead and explore the groups section. When moving into groups, you will have the option to create a new group. We're going to go ahead and click onto that icon. Entering your group name, we're going to go ahead and call this particular group name Test Codes. After doing so, you will then have the option to enter in the description and go ahead and create. Once creating a new group, as you can see down here, we've created Test Codes. You will then move into our campaign section. Campaigns is where you can then go ahead and create a new campaign. Once pressing that icon, you will then be able to enter in the campaign name. We're going to go ahead and call this campaign number 5. And you'll have to scroll down to the bottom to select the group in which you'd like this new campaign to appear in. In this particular instance, we're going to go ahead and select Test Codes and create. Please taking notice that you'll see that campaign 5 has now been created and it's within the test code groups. Next up, we're going to go ahead and move into codes. When going into the codes section, you will see that you will then be able to create yourself a new code. Please click onto the new code icon and go ahead and first select the campaign in which you would like this new code to appear. In this instance, we're going to go ahead and select campaign 5. Entering in the code title, we're going to put test code 4. Selecting code action, we're going to go ahead and choose browse to a website. Scrolling down to the middle of the page, you will notice that you have an option of 2 different formats to put your code in. The first, which is the most popular and more familiar, which would be the QR code. Second being the data matrix. For this particular code, we're going to keep it in the QR code format. Finally, scrolling down to the end of the page, you will be asked to put in an active URL address where your viewers will be directed after scanning your code. Please note that when entering in this URL address to use HTTP. After entering in your URL code, proceed to the next step. At the top of the page, you'll notice that you have the option to receive daily reports of scanned codes via email. If you are interested in receiving these daily reports, please keep the box checked. And finally, before creating this new code, you will have the option to enter in a second URL address that your scanners will be directed to if in the event your original URL address is not set to active. Please note if you leave this field blank, users will automatically be redirected to our default page. And proceed to create. Noticing once created, within our code section, you will notice we now have test code 4. Moving to the top right-hand corner, you will notice that amongst new group, new campaign, and new code, you will have the option to import codes. Importing codes is our QR code tracking system's generator, where you are able to generate hundreds, even thousands of codes at one time. Please note that you are not able to import codes from other websites. In this particular instance, you will take notice at the top, there is a downloadable sample file that you can use to get a better understanding on the format and begin to start creating your own files for mass import. We're going to go ahead and click on this sample file, and you will notice that this is the format that you will need to keep your Excel spreadsheet in. Please notice that you will need to save your Excel spreadsheet in a CSV format. Without saving it in that format, the mass export will not be able to take place. Moving back to the mass import page, we're going to first select our group. In this instance, we would like these codes to appear in our test codes group. We're going to select campaign 5, and we're going to go ahead and choose a file. We've already gone ahead and created an Excel spreadsheet file in which we have listed 14 new codes. We'd like to take the opportunity now to go ahead and open that file just to give you an example of what that should look like. And when opening the code, you will notice that it's in a very similar format to what we had originally showed you in our downloadable sample file. Clicking out of this and moving on. Once you've gone ahead and selected your file, please scroll down towards the middle of the page where you will notice again you will have the option to choose your code type, QR code format, data matrix. In this particular instance, we will create using the QR code format again. Finally, down at the bottom, before importing your codes, you will again have that option to receive daily reports of your scanned codes. And whether or not you'd like to choose, that would be up to you. You can then go ahead and import. Give it a moment just to upload. And you will notice we've now gone ahead and created 14 sample codes. Sample code 1 and 2, scrolling on to pages 2, 3, and 4, you will notice that it will continue to show the 14 new codes that we've now created all at one time. And while that's uploading, just to show you, at the bottom, you will notice that we have 33 available codes that we can go ahead and create. That would come from at the very top, you'll notice that we have the account type. Our account package includes 50 tags. So if ever there's question of how many tags you still have available that you can create, you can just come down to the top left-hand corner and you will notice that there are 33 available. Scrolling over to the far left, you will notice that there is a box that you have the option to check. When checking these boxes, you can come down and choose an action, whether it would be to delete, download, or move these particular barcodes, and just go ahead and press the execute button, and that will allow you to either delete or move various codes at one time. Scrolling back over towards the right hand of the page, you will notice that this is the status of this particular barcode. By clicking on this particular active button, you will have the option to activate or deactivate your code at any time. Finally, moving more over towards the right, you will notice that we have the pencil icon. The pencil icon is going to allow you to go in and edit your codes. Please notice that you can go ahead and change the original URL address that you entered in, allowing your scanners to be redirected to possibly a different website than you would have originally entered without actually changing or creating a new code. And finally, you would have the X icon, which would be the delete, where you can go ahead and delete each code individually. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and scroll over to the statistics portion of our web page, where you would then have to select your group. In this particular instance, we're going to select group QR codes. We are going to select campaign 1, and we'd like to select test code 2 by pressing on the plus icon, which is going to go ahead and select test code 2. Scrolling down, there are various options in regards to tracking the amount of scans or where your scan was actually scanned or taken place. Our first section is the select range of time. You can go ahead and track this by week, month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Scrolling over to the far right, you will notice that on April 26th, there was 1 scan. Scrolling down more towards the middle, our next section would be user visits. This is going to allow you to track all visits and unique visits. Next, moving into the geographical and devices, this is going to track the actual mobile device that was used to scan your code. In this particular example, the Apple iPhone was used to scan our code on April 26th. Finally, moving down to the geographical Google map, this is going to pinpoint the specific location as to where your code was actually scanned. Please note that our Google map is now running on the new Browser 5 technology. And if you go ahead and place the hand anywhere on the red dot, you're going to be able to then zoom in to find out precisely not only the particular state as to where you were scanned, but moving you close enough in to find out practically as to what street this particular scan took place on. And again, just keep your hand anywhere on that red button and continue to scroll in, and that's going to give you a precise location as to where this scan took place. And now scrolling back up, we're just going to go ahead and revisit our codes page just to touch upon one more quick thing. Noticing to the right of your code, there are 4 different files in which you can save your QR code in. Finally, moving back to the dashboard, if you scroll over to the top middle of the page, you'll notice that we do have other options. You can click onto the My Profile section of our webpage, where you can go ahead and enter in any personal information that you'd like to in regards to your account. And most importantly, we have our help icon that you can click onto, where you're going to there meet Tracky, our curious turtle, and he can help you with any frequently asked questions that you may have. Moving back into the dashboard, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for using QRCodeTracking.com, and please remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.